Have you ever just stopped and wondered how the internet works? I mean, really works? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on this amazing invisible force that's basically the conductor for the entire digital world. It's called orchestration. Okay, picture this. Your favorite game just dropped a massive new update or is having a huge live event. You and literally millions of other people are all trying to log in at the exact same second. How in the world does it not just, completely crash and burn? Well, it's not magic, but honestly, it's pretty close. Behind the scenes, every single second you're online, there are thousands, maybe even millions of little computer tasks all happening at once. Now, if there was no plan, if they all just did their own thing, it would be pure chaos, like a massive traffic jam on the highway where every car is trying to go in a different direction. Nothing would load, your apps would freeze, it would be a total mess.
And that is exactly where orchestration comes into play. The best way to think about it really is like a conductor leading a giant orchestra. You've got all these different musicians, right? Each one knows how to play their instrument. But it's the conductor who makes sure they all play together at the right time to create this incredible piece of music instead of just a bunch of noise. That's what orchestration does, but for computer systems and software.
So, you've probably heard the word automation thrown around. And that's part of it, but it's not the whole story. Automation is like one single robot arm on an assembly line, just doing one specific task over and over again. Simple. But orchestration, that's the factory manager, the one who's telling 50 different robots what to do, when to do it, and how to work together to build the entire car. It's all about the big picture. Okay, so if orchestration is our conductor, then who are the actual musicians, right? Let's dive in and meet the individual players that make up this digital orchestra.
In the tech world, our musicians are something called containers. A container is basically a neat little digital package. Think of it like a self-contained kit. It has the software program plus everything it needs to run. All the tools, all the code, the whole shebang. It's all packed up in this one little box, which means it can run perfectly on any computer anywhere in the world. Super handy. And the orchestrator's job is to manage all these little containers. And it does some really cool stuff. If one of them fails or crashes, bam, a new one starts up automatically. You don't even notice. It also balances all the work out, making sure no single computer gets overloaded. It even figures out the best, most energy-efficient servers to run them on. This is the secret sauce for why your apps and websites are just always on. Now, every musician in an orchestra needs a place to sit and their sheet music to read, right? Well, in the digital world, that's something we call resource allocation. Resource allocation is all about deciding which programs get what. See, a computer only has so much memory. You can think of that as its brain power, and so much processing power. The orchestrator acts like a really smart manager, making sure that the most important tasks, like, say, processing your online payment, get a bigger slice of the pie than less critical things happening in the background. All right, now let's talk about the big show. This is where orchestration really gets to shine, when things get crazy. We're talking about handling those huge crowds and rolling out brand new updates. So let's go back to that game launch. You've got over 1 million people all hitting that login button at the exact same time. The need for computer power just goes from 0 to 100, like instantly. So what happens? And this chart here really shows you what's going on. On a typical day, the system is just cruising along. Low power needs, no problem. But then, boom, a big launch hits and the demand for power just skyrockets through the roof. You've got to be prepared to handle that massive spike. This whole process has a name. It's called scaling. The orchestrator is smart enough to see that huge wave of traffic coming, so it automatically fires up more servers, more computers to handle the load. And then, just as important, when the crowd starts to leave, it scales back down, turning off those extra computers. That saves a ton of money and energy. It's completely elastic, growing and shrinking as needed. And what about when you get a new update for an app? Orchestration makes that process super safe. Here's how it works. It starts deploying the new version, but it's also constantly scanning for bugs. If it spots a problem, even a tiny one, it instantly hits the brakes and rolls back to the previous version that it knows works perfectly. But if everything looks good, no bugs, then it gets the green light to go live for everyone. It's a fantastic safety net. Okay, but it's not all just about performance. A great conductor is also listening for any off-key notes and keeping an eye on security. And that's a huge part of orchestration too. It's basically on guard duty 24/7. Think about it. A really talented conductor can hear one single violin that's just a tiny bit out of tune, even in an orchestra of 100 musicians.
Well, an orchestration system is kind of like that, but for software. It's always checking in, making sure every piece of software is healthy and responding. If a program freezes up, it gets restarted automatically. If the physical computer it's running on has an issue, no problem. The task just gets moved to a healthy computer somewhere else. It's basically a self-healing system. It stops tiny little glitches from turning into massive system-wide crashes. And then, of course, there's security. A security breach in the digital world, man, that's like a fire starting backstage in the middle of a sold-out show. If you're not careful, it can spread incredibly fast and cause a whole lot of damage.
This is where orchestration is your best friend. It acts like an automated fire suppression system. It detects that digital fire and instantly slams shut the digital fire doors all around it. It isolates the problem so it can't spread anywhere else. And that is what keeps the rest of the system, and more importantly, your data, safe and sound.
So that's the here and now. But what's next? Where's all this incredible technology headed? Let's take a quick peek at the future of orchestration. It's pretty amazing how far we've come. In the past, engineers had to do all of this management by hand. It was a ton of manual work. Right now, we're in an age of automated rules and workflows. But the future? Oh, the future is all about AI, artificial intelligence. Instead of just reacting to problems after they happen, future systems are going to use AI to actually predict them. Just imagine that for a second. A system that can see a potential problem hours before it happens, and then just quietly fixes it before a single person is ever affected. That's the goal. That's where we're headed. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Orchestration is the invisible engine that powers our modern digital lives. It's the reason your favorite apps just work, why your online games don't crash during huge events, and why your information stays safe online. And it's all happening quietly behind the curtain. So I'll leave you with this one thought. We are stepping into an era of predictive technology. So what if your favorite apps, your favorite games, your entire digital world could fix problems before you even noticed anything was wrong? What if things just worked perfectly all the time? That's the future that orchestration is busy building for us right now.